Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at KiwiSaver. Okay, for those of you that are not aware, KiwiSaver is the retirement fund that we have in place here in New Zealand. I've made a few videos on the channel before about KiwiSaver, and it's something I'll probably sort of track maybe every once or twice a year. I'll make a quick video and an update on what funds are doing out there and how Simplicity's going, and is anyone sort of beating Simplicity or on par with Simplicity with the fees and also returns. In today's video, we're going to be looking at two particular funds, first being Simplicity. Like I said, I've made a few different videos around Simplicity, so check those out if you're interested. And also we're going to be comparing it to Juno. Okay, Juno is another new fund, pretty new on the scene, only been around since 2018, but they have some very competitive fees as well. And the returns have been quite good this last year. So that's what we're going to be breaking down in today's video, comparing the two, seeing how they're both stacking up, and maybe look at, is Juno worth sort of considering now? But like I say in every video, guys, everything we discuss today is purely entertainment purposes only. You should do thorough research before taking on any investment, especially when it comes to your retirement. Okay, this is your little nest egg. You want to protect this, protect your golden goose. With that said, let's jump into today's video. All right, so I'm over on moneyhub.co.nz. I'm going to be leaving a link to this in the description below if you guys want to dig in a bit deeper. But this is just a brief overview of this particular website's, the highlights of the best performing KiwiSaver providers over the last year. And coming in at the top of the list was Juno. I've looked at Juno before in one of the other videos when someone said, have you checked out Juno? And I hadn't actually looked at it, but it's pretty compelling. They're pretty interesting. They've had some pretty good returns this last year. We'll go over that in a minute. And the fees are quite competitive as well. They're not quite as sharp as Simplicity, and it is more of a hands-on approach when it comes to investing. It's not an index balance fund that just tracks the index, which Simplicity is, which is what always Scott Pape recommends in his books. Getting these index balance funds hands-off. There's no minimal management fees usually. So this is Juno coming in. This was their favorite KiwiSaver fund for actively managed returns in recent times. So they've only been around since 2018. Can they get these sort of returns for 5, 10, 20 years? Yet to be known. I'm just going to have a quick run through this. So the fees are sort of structured depending on how much you have with your KiwiSaver. Then they're tiered and they will obviously go up. And that's the same with any sort of KiwiSaver provider or any fund that you may be looking investing at, even outside of KiwiSaver as well. If you're under, I think it's 13 years of age, we'll get onto that in a second with Juno. There's actually minimal fees, if not zero fees, for anyone under that age. So let's just scroll down. We'll go over the fees in a minute. Simplicity did actually make the list here. So we've got, Simplicity, our favorite long-term growth KiwiSaver fund for low management and membership fees. The Simplicity Growth Fund. So this is the fund that I'm currently invested, both me and my wife, and we have been looking recently for starting a KiwiSaver for our son, Finn. And that's what sort of spurred me on doing a bit more research around it today, just to try to see what sort of the best options around there for him as well. So the fees are 0.31%, that's the annual management fee, and then the annual $20 membership fee, no fee for those under the age of 18. Okay guys, so we're just going to jump in and have a quick look over Juno's website, then we're going to have a quickly look at Simplicity as well, just to see how they're stacking up against one another with regards to fees and also returns over this last year. So one low monthly fee, we'll look at the fees in a second. Just going to quickly scroll through this here. So they have a comparison tool where you can see with the top 31 funds, this is run through Morningstar, so another third party. I'm pretty sure most of you are pretty familiar with Morningstar, where they ranked all the different KiwiSaver, not all, the top 31 KiwiSaver providers in New Zealand with regards to fees and also their returns, and Juno took it out #1 spot. So they're tooting the horn pretty loud about that, for good reason though. No hidden fees. And that's one thing I find about Juno and also Simplicity. Their websites are super easy to navigate, very transparent how much they're charging you in fees and their returns as well, which I do like to see. So here we have, over the last year, market index returned 10.61%, where the Juno Growth Fund returned 18.98%. So very good returns. They've got a little Discover Your Money personality test here where you can go through and see what sort of person you are. I haven't actually done the quiz, but check that out if you're interested. So this is backed by Pi Fund. So this is an actively managed fund rather than Simplicity, which just tracks the entire indexes. Generally, this is what Scott Pape recommends in his books. Go being these low-cost index balance fund providers, you'll track what the market is doing. So whereas this fund has been outperforming the index by 6-7 sort of points Pi funds launched Juno so everyone could benefit from their specialised active investment success and great track record. Juno may be new, but we're run by the award-winning Pi Funds team. We've been managing Kiwis money since 2007. Here have some of the Pi Funds awards and ratings. So they've got some pretty good little write-ups here as well. I was reading. So the Money Hub says it's our favourite KiwiSaver fund, which was the first website I looked at. The Herald gives it a pretty good little write-up. So these give them pretty good reviews there. So let's jump over and have a quick look over the comparison tool. Then we'll look at the fees. We know what the returns have been. So they're around that sort of 18-19% for the last year. Let's just run this comparison tool. I'll leave a link to this in the description below so you guys can actually go in and see how your particular fund is that you're with if you're not with Juno or Simplicity. So there they are, number one spot. So here they are, top of the list, $96, and this is for a $20,000 KiwiSaver amount, and this is for 12 months returns to 30th of June 2021. So $96 in fees is on, like I said, a $20,000 KiwiSaver balance. And it just scrolls down the list here. So the average, Morningstar average was $246.44. And if we scroll down a little bit further, we will find Simplicity. So Simplicity is still beating them for fees, only just though, coming in at $78. And in the end, we'll have a look at how much they've been returning as well over this last year. Like I said, I'm currently with Simplicity, this growth fund actually in particular. So that's that there. Let's have a quick look at the fees, just so you guys are familiar with the fees if you're not familiar with Juno. I think the fees are very competitive, especially for an actively managed sort of fund as well. So they're beating on the big four banks here. I was originally with ASB before I went to Simplicity, and you can see here they're just comparing them. So the $8 monthly fee and $96 a year in fees, like I said, on the $20,000 KiwiSaver account. So this is the fee structure. So members age under 13, it's free. So this is quite attractive to me as I was looking at setting up a KiwiSaver for our son, Finn. So I definitely will be looking at Juno for potentially setting one up for him. And then it just sort of gets tiered up as it goes as you get older. Members age between 13 and 17 or balances under 5K, it's $2.50 a month. And then, if you get to balances between 5K to 15K, it's $5 a month. I'm not going to go over each one in detail, but you sort of get the gist of how it works there. And at the top end of the scale here, we have so balances between 100K to 200K, it's $90 a month. And then also a little thing here attached on the side, after which you'll be charged an extra $30 per month for every additional 100K. So, i.e., if you have a balance of 200K, you'll be charged $90 plus the $30, giving you that $120 per month in fees. So that's their fee breakdown. Pretty straightforward to navigate and pretty close to Simplicity there. Let's jump over and have a quick look at Simplicity just to see how they've been stacking up over the last year. So Simplicity fees are very simple. It's 0.31% plus the $20 fee, which is the lowest fee provider I can find in New Zealand. And this is the returns that they've had over this last year. So the Simplicity Growth Fund, which is what I'm with, over the last year has returned 17.8%. So just slightly below what we've had from Juno there. And then over the 3 years coming in 11.49%, 2 years 12.54%. And the balance fund is slightly below that as well. And this is dated to the 31st of July 2021. Like I said, I'm going to leave links to both these in the description below, so if you guys want to dig in a little bit deeper. Me personally, I am still with Simplicity, and I do really like the fund. I've been with them for a number of years now, since they first started, or around 6 months after they started maybe, as I just really like their philosophy when it comes to investing, super hands-off, and especially for both me and my wife, KiwiSaver. It's an easy hands-off passive investment. Don't have to think about it too much. I check it maybe 2-3 times a year, usually around that end of June, 30th of June, make sure I've made that minimum payment to be entitled to the government top-up of the $521. So make sure we do that before the end of the financial year there, or end of 30th of June is the main time I sort of check in. Like I said, 2 or 3 times a year possibly. And then if I'm looking at different funds or see what else is out there at the moment, which I have been following Juno the last year or so. Look, I may not be jumping over yet, but I'd love to get to know you guys' thoughts. Are you considering jumping over to Juno, as they have had a pretty good run these last couple of years, or you're sticking to your guns and sticking with Simplicity? Drop in the comments below how you're sort of sitting with that. Is this just a couple of years where they're having good runs and then next year they might drop back to only 3%? The beauty of the Simplicity run is you just, whatever the index is doing, that's how your fund will perform, whereas there could be a bit more volatility and a bit more risk with an actively managed fund like Juno as well. But they've had a pretty good track record out the gate so far. So can they keep this up? We'll soon see. Anyway, guys, going to wrap that one up there for today's video. If you've got any questions on anything I covered off today, drop in the comments below and I'll do my best to help you out. Like I said, I'd love to hear which way you guys are going. Are you sticking to your guns with simplicity? Are you thinking about maybe heading over to Juno? Yeah, drop in the comments below. With that said, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit that like button. Helps me out a ton. And if you want to see future videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you can stay up to date when the next video drops. All right, guys, stay safe out there and we'll catch you in the next video. Cheers, guys.